Good early morning, Heat Nation. This is Roy, the host of Happenings, the only host in the history of the internet who fully and wholeheartedly admits that has no idea what is going on, but he still tries to keep up. This recording after the loss today, right? Earlier today against the Clippers. It is again. I'm not going to be talking about details of what happened during the game. Obviously, Herro had a great game, and obviously, it didn't have any help, right? But there are a few observations to make. A few observations that I couldn't have made. Yes, well, one very specific remark that I couldn't have made yesterday, but that I am able to make today, because Bam was a late scratch, right? We didn't think Bam was not going to play. We saw him fall in that game against the Trailblazers and hurt his back, right? Actually, not his back, but his tailbone, which is, if it's pretty painful. So I don't really know what's going to happen with him. It's probably going to be questionable for next game, if not just out. And this is also the we have one more game on the road only. So this is the penultimate game on the road for us for this particular stretch. And this is also the sixth game of 7 of Jimmy Butler's suspension. So, obviously we are still in suspense of what's going to happen with Jimmy Butler. We talked about Jimmy Butler enough. And obviously we're still going to talk about him a lot because, there are a lot of things to still figure out. But the most important thing that I couldn't have remarked yesterday was exactly Bam's absence. So let's kind of take a look at how the game unfolded. I was able to watch the first half yesterday, barely. I wasn't feeling very well. Couldn't, it's obviously very late. Okay, went to sleep, watched the second half today, and I regret doing so because I knew the score already. That part I knew already. So I knew that, it wasn't good, and I just hadn't looked at the score in the quarters, and I saw that we had, again, a third quarter. Every time we lose and we had a bad third quarter, everybody says we are cursed in the third quarter, not understanding that sometimes it's the first, sometimes it's the second, and sometimes it's the fourth. Sometimes it's the second of OT. The truth is that sometimes we don't perform when it comes to the offense. That definitely has improved this year slightly, even when we had Jimmy Butler, functional, even through losses, but it has still improved a little bit. The third quarters were a real big problem at the beginning of the season. We didn't have those so much in the past few games, at least not that I can recall specifically. And at the same time, there is also the fact that we don't have Jimmy Butler, so this is obviously a completely new build, right? Whatever is going to happen and what the build ultimately is going to be, no one knows. But this is a new build, and the new build relies on a core of 2 players, one of them being Bam Adebayo. Tyler Herro did his part. And I can guarantee you that this is the game. Those are the games that you miss Bam Adebayo because you miss Bam Adebayo on defense. Especially that first quarter, seeing how Love was being basically manhandled on defense. He's not able to. Love was never known for being that guy, number one, in terms of, amazing defense. But also because he's old and he just can't get there. Bam defensively helps us a lot. There are a lot of intangibles. They fear Bam's defense. There are a lot of the fact that Bam has to, help and switch a lot because of the lack of defense in other players. Now that we lost Drew Smith, understanding how important it is to, for example, in this young core, having a guy like Drew Smith. I don't know why Highsmith didn't work out very well. I don't know why Hakis was not as efficient as I know he could be. First couple of plays was a turnover from Hakis and then a block, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why Jovic wasn't able to contribute yesterday. The one thing that I know is that we do know that Bam Adebayo makes a difference, right? So you could very well see that we can win without Jimmy Butler. We have been doing so season after season. Otherwise, we wouldn't even have gotten into the play-ins the last couple of seasons had we not won without Jimmy Butler. The record may be at 50-50 right now, right? 50%. without Jimmy Butler, but we still are able to win without Jimmy Butler. That's not the question. But we are not going to be able, as most teams are not going to be able to win without two of their main players. There are teams that have gone through the process or have picked up the right personnel that have gone through the process that this young Miami Heat team still can go with the Miami Heat. Specifically speaking about Jovic, Larson, where, I'm sorry guys, when you get old, that's what happens. You start coughing out of nowhere and you try to avoid it, but that's just the way it is. Where, and of course, Tyler Herro, Bam Adebayo, those are the guys that are the main anchors of the team. So I think that this is something that we should be able to overcome with time. I think that there were a lot of literally rookie mistakes yesterday on both ends of the floor on any given quarter. I think that the young core, still did something. They won by double digits, yes, but they didn't win like the Utah Jazz won against us at home, for example, like the Pacers won against us at home. So those are thoughts to be given. Yes, true. A lot of the scoring and importance that some of the young players had, such as were late in the game. Okay, I understand, but at the same time, you can't expect. Josh Howard said that in our group again, right? Miami Heat, new, not so new, and veteran defense. Josh Howard said that. He said, this is exactly when their youth kind of shows, and their youth is going to show because they are young. There are players that come into the NBA ready. Paulo Banchero, Wembanyama, but those are rare. We're talking about maybe 5 players, if 5 players a year that really come NBA ready to the point that their careers are only going to improve. The best of the best also had slumps in a couple of their years, and I'm not talking necessarily about LeBron James or Michael Jordan but yeah, there are people who are not NBA ready, or who there's the whole thing. Yeah, Highsmith can say that they have chemistry, that they feel good. There are a lot of things, but there's also the lack of experience. A lot of these players have. And then that's when you are missing a guy like Bam. So to me, the entire thing yesterday is not that the young people did badly, because they did. And that's not a big deal. It's a game away. I know that we are in a situation right now that we are only 2 above 500 again. We are afraid of not having Bam, so losing to the Lakers again. And then, of course, we have the Nuggets. Like I said, it's a schedule loss, and then we go back to 500. I understand that. But at the same time, you can't be mad at this game, right? Not without Bam. And you have to understand that Bam did play through, and he played through and gave us good minutes against the Blazers, even being in pain. Adrenaline, rush, whatever it is that the doctors do, the voodoo that they do. A little bit David Bowie there. But in any case, that's my analysis of the game. Not a big deal. Nothing really lost. Nothing really gained other than the experience of the young ones. And to any fan saying we don't have enough, please understand that no one said that we do. I know some people get excited when they see a win and they see, wow, this team they have enough for what? They have enough to being fun. They have enough to being fun to watch. They have enough for being fun to watch. That's what they have enough for. I think they do. Yesterday was not fun to watch because they were being destroyed, because they were being treated and they look like the rookies or sophomore slumpers that they are. In the case of Jovic, just the fact that, that's when a guy like Jovic, haven't gotten more minutes last season, would have come in handy, more experience, right? But it's not like he didn't get minutes. It's not like he didn't get reps also this season. So you can't blame that on Spo. Maybe you can blame him a little bit on Spo. I honestly didn't watch the game close enough to know that. And I haven't listened to any podcast thus far, with the exception of a little bit of Amir's team to beat. But yeah, he's just pretty much saying, given the stats, and according to the stats, Herro again was a monster. First can see those. And nobody else was. Yeah, that's what happens, unfortunately. And that's what's going to happen when you're playing away against a team that is arguably, a couple of tiers above you in terms of the roster that they have. The fact that Kawhi Leonard hasn't lost to the Heat when he's playing with the Clippers, he hasn't lost to the Heat in 10 years, in a decade, and we still have them at home, at some point soon. I think the Clippers are a possible sweep, but it all depends. Maybe it all comes together. Maybe the young people had learned something. I don't know. The game yesterday was awful, but I bet that there are lessons there for the young people, and Bam wasn't there. You cannot judge a team when the best player is not there as well as you could, especially not this one, especially among the turmoil. I think they're still doing pretty well considering all the turmoil that's going around them. Stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible. It's a very complicated world of ours. Let's go Heat.